It's Saturday morning, and that means it's time for Spartan Nation TV. With me, your host, Hondo Carpenter from SpartanNation.com. Joined by the Duckett Dynasty, legendary Michigan State and NFL running backs, Tico and TJ Duckett. Now, it's time for Spartan Nation TV. Good morning. Welcome back to Spartan Nation TV. I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter, along with legendary Michigan State and NFL running backs, the great Tico and TJ Duckett. How you doing, gentlemen?
Great.
What's happening?
Just a little bit of house cleaning from last week's show. Right here on this show, go to YouTube and watch it. If you missed it, I made a bet with both of them last week about the number of points Penn State would have. You both lost. So you owe a check to the New World Flood. I'll let you write it when we go to commercial break. And you owe me a tie.
You know, we need to replay this. I
don't even
replayed
think it's
last
on
week.
yeah.
Was that last week? Was that last week?
No.
Okay.
Amy Jo, I want my tie. All right. Gentlemen, 34-10. First of all, I like the 10 points for Penn State.
Yeah.
TJ, Michigan State made a statement.
Yeah, they came out and they did what we wanted them to do. They looked amazing in certain areas. Don't get me wrong. Again, I hate to say that, but we say the same thing every week, meaning they could have put more, they could have done this, but we have another 100-yard rusher. We have a 34. I mean, we put up points. It's just we could be 60 points a game with 600 yards total offense.
I agree. I mean, we're saying the same things. What that means is they're being consistent right now.
Yeah,
they're coming out, they're winning their ball games. They start off slow and they finish big. And, that's what we expect. What I like to see is, once we play some better competition, and we'll probably see that here. Yeah.
I want to redefine our question here for a moment. This is where I'm concerned. They put up 27 offensive points. Obviously, R.J. Shelton got the touchdown return. We'll talk about that in a moment. But where I'm concerned about, this offense should be putting more points up. And as we look ahead to a bowl game later in the show, the price of poker goes way up with that opponent, whether it's a TCU, a Baylor, a Mississippi State, whomever the Michigan State plays, where they can't afford to leave points on the board. How concerned are you, TJ?
Without a doubt. I mean, they came out, in my opinion, playing like they played against Oregon and how they played against Ohio State, where Ohio State, these better teams capitalize off of us going to the red zone and only getting 3 points. Mm-hmm. They capitalized. A lot of those long balls that were overthrown, these teams were catching those. So when we start to play good teams who make these plays, we're going to get blown out.
And I agree. I mean, we're playing to a level that's not at a high level at all. And if we're playing a good team, we're not going to win. That's simple.
I'm going to throw a statistic out to both of you I'd like your comment on. Michigan State has 10 wins this season. None of them presently by a team in the top 25. Nebraska was when they played them. Is that something to be concerned about or no big deal, Tico?
I think it's something to be concerned about because that means we're not playing the high-caliber teams. And the way that our offense is playing, it shows if we play a high-caliber team, we probably won't win.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, 10 wins is great. It's hard to get that, however you want to put it, and be consistent. But we can't show up in the big games, bottom line.
It's going to be interesting to watch. 6 times in MSU history, the Spartans have had 10 wins seasons or more. 5 of them, Mark D'Antonio is linked to, once as an assistant, 4 in the last 5 years as the head coach. Does it simply not mean as much because there are more games being played, or is it still significant? I think it's a mix of both, TJ.
Yeah, it is a mix of both. And, again, to get 10 wins is pretty phenomenal. But we're at a point now where we've plateaued as a program, and to get to that elite status, we need either more wins or beating better competition.
Mark D'Antonio said this, and I know that it probably shocked you a little bit, Tico, just as it probably did the people at home. After the game, and I was sitting right in front of him, he said, the benchmark at MSU now is 10 wins. I like that bravado because most coaches would run from that. He said, that's the benchmark now.
Well, it is the benchmark now. Now he has to sustain that because now if we start to just win 9 or 8, his job's going to be in jeopardy because he raised the bar so high. But I like that because that shows we're a new team, we're a new kind of Spartan team, and we strive to win.
Good point. Now, a simple statement. Mark D'Antonio had hats printed for the guys that simply said, Program 10 win. He gave it to him. Mark D'Antonio likes to do those extra special gifts to the guys, obviously within NCAA rules. You like it?
Love it. Love it. It's going to be a keepsake that they'll remember forever.
I agree. When we come back, we'll have more right here on Spartan Nation TV.
MSU Federal Credit Union is a proud supporter of Michigan State University athletics. On or off the court.
MSU Federal Credit Union.
Supports my team.
My team.
My team.
My team. And we just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you, MSU FCU.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Simple T Printing and Embroidery. We make shirts and we give back.
Good morning. Welcome back, Spartan Nation TV. I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter, along with legendary Michigan State running backs and NFL running backs, Tico and TJ Duckett. The three of us on your television set right now are both fathers, and that's something very critical and important to our lives. And we take a moment at Spartan Nation to send a shout out to all of the Ohio State Buckeye Nation. In case you didn't hear the story, their defensive lineman, Casta Karageorge, went missing. He was found dead in a dumpster less than 1/10 of a mile from his apartment. May God have mercy on his soul, and we're praying for his family. Sad loss. We're all dads. I know it hit us hard.
Absolutely.
Some things have nothing to do with football.
Some things, a lot of
Bigger
things.
than bigger than the game.
Yep,
Bigger than the game.
Absolutely.
Bigger than the game.
All right, let's get back to the game. Penn State had the best statistical defense in the Big Ten. I don't believe it was the best. That's why you guys both said they would score a lot of points, and I didn't. Michigan State put up 298 yards against the best D in the Big Ten, Tico.
You know, it's great. We put up a lot of yards. TJ said it best. We're not reaching our full potential on offense, so it kind of gives you a little bit of scared look at it when you know you could do a lot better. So,
Langford, 30 rushes, 122 yards, 15 straight games against Big Ten competition. And yet, gentlemen, there were times in that game when he's running the ball, and I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we throwing? If Cook's not having a good day, feed the monster, TJ.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a silent type of awesomeness that he had, but he had 30 carries still.
Right.
I mean, he had the bulk of the carries, and I don't know if it's the flow, but maybe he needs 40 carries. But whatever it is, he needs to touch the ball every single series, and if he's hot and he's rolling and everyone, the offensive line's gelling, they need to continue to run the ball because that's also going to open up the passing game.
When you talk with TJ and Tico Duckett, one of the things that stands out about being a dynamic running back, and let's be honest, both of them are clearly the definition of that, is offensive line. How much would you two have loved to have run behind this Michigan State offensive line, Tico?
you know, Mark's done a fantastic job with this offensive line, and these guys are aggressive. I actually think they'd rather run block than pass block, to be honest with you. And it just sets the tempo of the game, and you love these guys because they're flying downfield, they're pancaking people. It just brings the whole awesomeness to the team.
I'm never going to shortchange the offensive line that I played with because they were some dogs, yeah. But I mean, that was monsters. But this offensive line definitely resembles them in the way that they are flying around and they care. Watch how they help how they help all the running backs up after the play. I mean, they're if someone's doing too much at the bottom of the pile, they grab. I mean, they care for each other, and that's what it's about. That's how you get those tough yards.
For the two of you, though, explain to the people at home, most offensive linemen like to pass block. They're not getting 350 pounds down in a three-point stance. They're up on their knees. They don't have to bend as much. When you got guys who want to run block, those are some dogs.
Well, that's what you want, you know. And when I played, I used to tell the guys, you know, 3-second rule, meaning once the ball's hiked, you get in their grill, 3 seconds, I'm running by you. So, you know, just to convince them, you know, just give me 3 seconds. And, you know, I like when an offensive line wants to get dirty like that.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they're aggressive, and the when you are aggressive as like that, it allows for the run blocking. Pass, you got to wait, you got to sit, you're on your heels. But to say, go get him, there's no, do everything you can to block this guy and hold him for 3 seconds, whatever it is. But they're just firing off the ball, and that's what you want these guys to be doing.
Kelly from Potterville emailed in, and she had a question I thought was interesting. She said, from the two of you, who do you think is the offensive line MVP of this team? I think, and she didn't ask me, was Conklin. I think that's pretty clear, but your thoughts?
You know, I have to say, geez, that's a toss-up. Everyone did very well. I mean, Jack Allen held it down. You know, he held it down pretty well for me. You know, I think Jack Allen.
That's a great question. I would say Jack Allen, only because the leadership that he shows in multiple scenarios.
Kelly from Potterville also said she thinks you both look sexy with your bald heads.
Thank you.
On your screens, our Twitter account, so send one to TJ Kelly that says, hey, Baldy.
Right.
All right, gentlemen. What did you think Michigan State backed up at their goal line? Mark D'Antonio puts Damian Terry, the Pennsylvania recruit, in. He's got R.J. Shelton in. He's got Delton Williams in the game. And obviously Shelton is from Wisconsin, but Delton is from Pennsylvania. He said it was scripted. I asked him after the game. But what did you think of him putting in those Pennsylvania recruits saying, all right, you're home?
You know, I just think the timing was bad. You know, to be backed up in your own end zone and to come in cold like that. Yeah, I just thought the timing was bad. It's awesome for them to put them in, you know, so they can show their talent and play football. But this timing was a little off for me.
Tell you why I loved it. Because D'Antonio said it was scripted to put him in that series, and I wasn't worried about it. I don't recruit guys that can't play here. I knew they could play, so I did not even worry. I kind of like that, says to them, I'm not going to worry. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I do like that. I like both comments. I mean, from a fan's perspective.
And he's running for political office.
Right, exactly.
From a fan's perspective, I'm thinking, what are you doing?
Right.
Why would you bring these guys in? But from a coach's perspective, building your team and showing the confidence and being a former player, it was scripted. I mean, this was the script. And what if you're inside the red zone and it was picked, and now you're in? Is there any difference? So from a fan's perspective, I was a little off, but from a coach's being on the field, player's perspective, great move.
We've talked about Cook already, guys, but he was 13 of 25. Is it fair to just say unimpressive?
Very fair. I mean, he's not lighting them up. When he throws, he doesn't even have the flick anymore. You know, the spiral. I don't know what's going on.
I had someone say to me, it's almost like he's throwing the ball, not delivering the ball.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the year. I don't know if it's just the weather, but he has went from just a zesty pop to the ball to now it's tougher. It's harder for him to do it.
Totally agree with you. When we come back, is he on offense? Is he defense? Is it a bird? Is it plane? Is it Tony Lippett? We'll talk about him next.
We're an underdog company, and we kind of relish that role. We're not on the top of the mountaintop. You know, hopefully one day our goal is to be #1 sportswear in the world. Will that happen? We don't know, but we're going to try to get there.
Hi, I'm Kevin Whitkin, owner of Discount 1 Hour Signs. We've been proudly serving the Lansing area since 1979. We pride ourselves in producing the best signs at the best prices, fast. From traditional graphics, vehicle wraps, lighted signs, whatever your needs, we do it all. Remember, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Discount Signs, Lansing's top sign shop since 1979.
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at the MSU Federal Credit Union, proud sponsors of MSU Athletics.
Good morning. Welcome back, Spartan Nation TV. I'm Hondo, along with the great TJ and Tico Duckett. Gentlemen, haven't had a chance to tell you, but now it's the holiday season, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's Christmas, whatever it is you celebrate, or if you just simply enjoy the end of the year. Happy whatever you do, from us to them, right? Season greetings, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween.
What do you say?
Happy Hanukkah. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
All right, good.
Okay.
So, guys, good holiday for you. I know we're all dads. We love this season a lot.
Absolutely, you know.
Let's talk about givers. How about Tony Lippett? He goes out there. He was dynamite on defense. I mean, he looked like a first or second round cornerback. Then he goes over on wide receiver. He's the #1 wide receiver. Earlier this week, he was named to some all Big Ten teams as the #1 first-team receiver. Gentlemen, the gift that keeps on giving. Talk Tony Lippett clause.
You know, what I like about Tony Lippett is he was our leader on offense, you know, the motivator, and we were lacking one on defense. Now we have one on defense, which is him. He's our offensive leader and our defensive leader.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with his skills, his ball skills. And to be able to be a running back or a receiver, you know where the breaks are. You have an idea which routes are where. And so that's a little something extra that he adds. But his ball skills, I mean, the timing for him to knock the ball out is pretty impressive.
We got into this last week, and Jeremy from Eastman, I don't know where Eastman is, I assume he watches on YouTube, but Jeremy from Easton sent an email for you, TJ. Last week on the show, you referenced you liked that Coach Saban said you could come here play linebacker or running back. And he wanted to get in a little bit deeper than, and he asked you, how many other schools offered that, and was that the biggest reason you picked Michigan State?
The only other school that really offered that was Michigan. They were the other ones. Everyone else was straight linebacker, and then I had another school that wanted to be straight running back. And that was a big difference. It was a big difference because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know. I really enjoyed carrying the ball, but I also enjoyed hitting people. The realization came when I was here and playing behind MSU great Julian Peterson, and it's like I probably am not going to see the field. But also, I mean, I had never had to wrestle with 290s, 300 pounds playing that Sam backer, and that's different if you ain't ready for that.
You know, I remember one of the defining points when you became a running back. You had a 1-yard touchdown, and his picture was on the front page, and he said, you know, I think I'll play running back. I remember. You know, the linebacker, I think it was Peters, had like 13 tackles, nowhere around. TJ had a 1-yard TD run, and he's on the front.
Are you insinuating our good buddy is a little vain?
Yeah. No, I'm just
I'm just saying, you know, don't get me wrong.
Right, there's something about touchdowns.
How about this? Marcus Rush has set the all-time record now for starts. Nobody has started more games than him.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm going to go out on a limb. We've all been around this program a long time. I've been around for 43 years. I think he's the most underrated Spartan of all time. Right or wrong, TJ?
I would definitely say he's very, very underrated. I don't know of all time because I don't know my history like that. But to start that many games, even coming off of an injury a couple weeks ago, and then being able to prepare for that game to start. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I think, like you said about him being underrated, he is a cornerstone to our defense that has allowed other players on the defensive line and in the secondary to make plays.
And that's what I was going to say. He has so much other talent around him that he doesn't stick out by himself. So that's the issue.
I think that's a terrific point. If you go back, he had, William Golston there,
right?
Who was very happy-go-lucky. He was a great quote, so the media went to him. Then he had Shalik Calhoun. All the media went to him.
Right.
His whole thing is I've never interviewed him. I said to him one time, can you say something good about yourself? He said, no. He goes, football's a team sport. And he was just genuine. I think that
sure.
All three of us as dads, that's the kind of you want your kid to act like.
Absolutely.
He's a great kid.
Do you think he'll have a shot in the NFL?
I do.
Okay.
I do think, talking to scouts, he's going to have to earn it.
Sure.
But I do think he's going to get a shot.
Good.
He can play. He's been overshadowed a lot his whole time here, but still, he gets a chance to prove himself.
Well, like one scout said to me, 4 years on the best defense in the country. If that doesn't earn you a shot in the NFL, then
Sure.
you don't deserve a shot.
And holding down that spot, it's amazing.
Penalties, 5 of 20. We have harped on penalties. Gentlemen, that's not too bad.
Focused. I mean, there's little subtle things, and that's where we even go back to us not being able to put up points. It's not the penalties that are keeping us from not putting up points.
Right.
It's just not executing and not following through on the play. That's our own stuff. Before, penalties brought us out in a couple of games, brought us out of scoring position. So it's phenomenal, but that hasn't hurt us scoring-wise.
You know, I feel the same way. You know, go ahead, Hondo.
Bowl game. Michigan State, let's pat ourselves a little bit on the back. We were the first ones to talk about it, potentially going to the Peach Bowl. We talked about it several weeks ago. Now it looks like it's coming into focus. Remember, next week's show will be a complete preview of the bowl game and who the Spartans play. We'll see you next Saturday, but we got plenty more right after the break.
I bet you've got some dreams.
My dreams drive my passion.
To do what I love.
To make a difference by teaching others.
To make the world a greener and better place.
To run my own business.
To see where the road takes me.
MSU Federal Credit Union offers auto loans to help drive your dreams to reality.
We know you've got dreams. MSU FCU can help.
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Message Makers, creators of experiences that transform.
Good morning. Welcome back, Spartan Nation TV. I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter. TJ's on first.
Tico's on second.
Tico's on second.
All right.
And by the way, pray for Barrett. Shoo, you going to do about that? For those of you who don't know, that's his girlfriend's name, Shoo.
Right.
Shoo, you going to do about that? Understand it, guys. She said just for the holidays, he gets to wear his Superman pajamas.
Oh,
No more Wonder Woman. No more Barbie. He's moving up to Superman.
We need to get a picture to prove what he's wearing. So.
Hey, by the way, we all had dinner on Wednesday night with Shu.
Oh, nice.
Totally, she married. He's out of her league.
Yeah. Okay.
We kind of understand a little bit because he's kind of the geeky nerd.
Right.
Why he lets her run the relationship?
Don't let him talk to you about that, Barrett.
Shu, Tico says, call him.
Pull his mic.
Gentlemen, moving along. Recruiting. 4 out of 5 years with 10 wins. How much does that impact recruiting, TJ?
Big deal. Because you got players that have came in as freshmen who were told one thing, and they have proven, they have set the standard throughout their 4 years and have gotten better. So now a recruit comes in and thinks that they'll be able to start right where they left off, pick up on that tradition and continue that legacy to get them to the next place.
I agree with that. It's going to help out tremendously. But what we have to be careful of is the attitude that you get when you start winning the 10 games and how you recruit. I can remember going to Michigan as a recruit, and they kept saying, well, if you just come here, we're going to win, and come here. And it got to a point where if you didn't come there, then you're going to go somewhere else and lose. So you got to be careful recruiting. Mm-hmm. Come as a family. Yes, we're a winning tradition, but don't get the big head in recruiting.
Very important question that you two will understand, and the fans have asked me a lot about it. Michigan State is at a point now, they have so many great players at every position that they don't have to use the full complement of scholarship. D'Antonio will reward a walk-on. How nice is it that they can bank some of those scholarships, maybe reward a walk-on senior for a year so that they may have more the next year if they can add more top-flight guys? What does it mean to a program to be in a place we just don't need bodies?
It means a lot. It means team. It means family. It means you can bring in other people outside of scholarship on the team, and eventually not everyone, but you can get them on scholarship, and that's great. That's great morale for the team.
And it just depends on what you're looking for, because football, people get hurt, people leave early, and you're building a program and you're developing. Mm-hmm. So if you have a guy who is a high elite athlete that wants to come here, and you're not going to give a scholarship to that particular person, and then you still have to rebuild, that's my thought. I think it's great to reward guys who have came in and who have really put it on the line for the program, for the team. But at the same time, from a coach's standpoint, if you have scholarships that you're able to give to develop players, elite players, that's an option.
Let's go back to rewarding walk-ons. 2 of the greatest things I can say about you two is that you never played with a guy that didn't think you guys were great teammates. Both of you on both of your teams were stars. By the way, congratulations with Mark D'Antonio mentioning you last week. In case you didn't know, he was asked by ESPN, Mark D'Antonio was, about is this the best crop of running backs? And he laughed and reminded them they probably didn't remember Tico's senior year. That was a great little thing that D'Antonio did.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Coach.
But my point is this. You guys were great teammates. How much did you like it when you saw a walk-on get a scholarship?
They're fighting the tears. They're working out just as hard as you are. They're in there. They work harder in practice because they're trying to make the team. So I like that.
Yeah, and they're part of the family. There is no difference. When you're in the locker room on the field, there is no first, second. There's none of that. You are all the same. And to see one of your teammates, one of your brothers get rewarded, it's amazing.
We'll be right back.
The right moves can win a game. The wrong move can take you out. Get off the sidelines and back in the game with world-class care from MSU Sports Medicine. Our team of physicians and specialists diagnose and treat athletic and performance injuries. We've expanded our care to include pediatric sports and injuries associated with dance and performing arts. Our team will get you back on track, whatever your game. Call MSU Sports Medicine at 884-6100.
Hi, I'm Kevin Whitkin, owner of Discount 1 Hour Signs. We've been proudly serving the Lansing area since 1979. We pride ourselves in producing the best signs at the best prices, fast. From traditional graphics, vehicle wraps, lighted signs, whatever your needs, we do it all. Remember, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Discount Signs, Lansing's top sign shop since 1979.
Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Video Vision 360, high octane, in the action videography specializing in sports, entertainment, and adventure. And by Claudia Irish Pub. Claudia Irish Pub, home of the Guinness Perfect Pour. This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Moneyball. Moneyball, it's the only way to ball.
Good morning, welcome back, Spartan Nation TV. I'm Hondo along with TJ and Tico. Don't forget, next Saturday is our bowl preview show. You don't want to miss it. We're going to break down the Spartans Bowl, their opponents, and all the Big Ten Bowl games. It'll be great. Finally, and just a little bit of note of housekeeping, Barrett came in on the break and said, guys, I want Shu Yu to let me wear my Superman pajamas. It's not Shao Yu, it's Shu Yu. So, Shu Yu, we appreciate you. There you go. All right, guys, predictions. Big Ten Championship game later today. It's Ohio State, it's Wisconsin. Ohio State down to a third-string quarterback. I think Melvin Gordon runs over them. And 28-21, the Badgers win.
Wow, okay. I think with Barrett not being in the game, that's going to give Wisconsin the lead. So I'm going to say 28-10.
I'm going to say Ohio State reloads. They just reload. And other players are going to have to step up, and they are going to pull this out. We already know you got to stop Gordon, so that's what they're going to do. I'm going to say 21-7, Ohio State.
Finally, we're going to predict the 4 teams that make the playoff. I think Alabama will, representing the SEC. I think Ohio State, with the loss to Wisconsin, is out. I think TCU and Baylor both get in. And because I think Georgia Tech beats Florida State, I think Oregon gets in for the 4th spot from the Pac-12.
Wow, okay.
I got it. I'm going to say Alabama's definitely going to be in. Ohio State will win this game, so Ohio State will be in. I'm going to say Baylor will be in, and Florida State will be in.
Wow.
Alabama national champions.
I know Alabama for sure is going to be in. I don't think Ohio State's going to be in there, so I think Florida State, Alabama, TCU might slide in there.
Okay.
And who else is
Oregon?
Oregon, yeah.
Florida State or Oregon?
Florida State.
All right, there you go. Next week, we're going to have predictions. Now, there'll be some separation because we just picked 5 games.
So that means I'm going to win the title.
Wow.
I'm going to win this.
Boo.
Give me this.
Finally, were either one of you guys,
Keep
just
it
a
right
quick commentary, were either one of you shocked Bo Pelini got fired? I say no because it wasn't just about on the field.
Right, and I say no just simply because you need to be wanted by your fans and your employer. It's just not wins.
I'm going to say no, and I'm sure there might be some other people around the country who are gone too.
All right, that's TJ, that's Tico, and I'm Hondo. See you next week.
Peace. Hold it down.
Guest of Spartan Nation State Country Inn and Suites, Curtis Grid.